This is a model of the French battleship Océan, launched at Brest on 8th November 1790. Ships of the Océan class were designed to be flagships of the French Navy and were the largest in the world. Océan was armed with 120 guns, had 3,250 square meters of sails, a crew of 1,130, and displaced 5,095 metric tons. That's 1,539 tons more than Nelson's HMS Victory. In this period, the French led the world in building large fighting ships. The French Navy was divided into 5 ranks, and these ships were of the premier rang, the equivalent of the British first rate. 18 ships were built in this class to a design by the innovative French marine engineer Jacques-Noel Sané, who standardized the designs of French ships of the line. The model was made by a French prisoner of war. Prisoners were encouraged to make items to sell at daily markets, and ship models were relatively common. This example, however, is a masterpiece, the finest prisoner of war ship model to have survived. They were made of bone, ivory, or tortoiseshell in sizes from 2 inches to 6 feet or more. Whalebone was used for larger models, but most, like the Océan, used ordinary beef bones saved from the prisoners' meals. The rigging was made of hair, cotton, or thread, made exactly as real rope. They were produced by teams of craftsmen, each contributing specific parts, such as figureheads, rigging, or guns, and were realistic, but not literally exact. The Océan class of ships were significantly longer than any previous warship, stretched by 10 feet to carry their extra guns. The largest guns, found on the lower deck, were 36-pounders, far heavier than the British 32-pounders. Each gun was so powerful and heavy, it required a crew of 14 to operate and maneuver, while a British 32-pounder needed only 7. The Océan class had gun ports just 6 foot 10 inches above the water amidships, but this was still higher than comparable British ships. Océan would also have carried 6 36-pound arquebusiers on the quarterdeck and forecastle, a devastatingly powerful gun that fired explosive shells at low velocity to be used against personnel. Although her lines are not represented on this model with great accuracy, her shape still speaks of design choices that favoured speed over stability in heavy seas. The model's stern has the classic horseshoe shape associated with Sané, but the modeler has added details to add value and show off his skill. There are no fewer than 16 carved figures, including 2 sirens and 4 mermaids, 2 of them playing conches. The model shows the planking below the waterline. It is perfectly fitted by the modeler, tapering up to the transom and widening to fit the rudder post, but it is not coppered. From 1786, all new French ships were meant to have copper sheathing, which prevented the shipworm Teredo navalis and inhibited weed and barnacle growth. Launched in the immediate aftermath of the outbreak of the French Revolution, Océan soon found herself thick in the action. At the glorious 1st of June in 1794, fought at the height of the Reign of Terror, she engaged the British first-rate Royal Sovereign. She was hit with around 250 cannonballs and took around 300 casualties, but was not captured. A year later, she was in action again at the Battle of Groix, and in 1809 at Basque Roads, where she was set ablaze by a British fireship, was grounded, and beat off British attacks for 4 days. She subsequently had a long life, and was not broken up until 1856, but when she was taken apart, 201 cannonballs from 1794 were found in her hull, the true embodiment of French sea power from the great age of sail.